This is Pranav Goa Thakurta from EduTV in our first program, Abroad Studies. As we are working with best of the schools in India and abroad, majority of the parents are interested to know the details, how to get admissions in foreign universities, especially in US, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. So, today we have a person with 18 plus years of experience in this domain. Her expertise lies in career mentorship, leadership and management of educational environment, leading the learning community, student recruitments, human resource management, establishing educational identity, international liaison and cooperation, team dynamics, counseling and mentoring students for higher education, college essay impact, guide for applying to the best of the universities in India and abroad. She is Miss Narula, Miss Charushila Narula. She's the founder and director of University Connection. Ma'am, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Pranav. This is a pleasure to be here with you and to be talking to your audience.
I just couldn't thank enough for the support and love I received here at the University Connection.
Like anyone else, my parents and I were also very concerned about the costs of studying abroad, and very soon it became clear that scholarships would be necessary in order for me to realize my dream to study abroad.
I actually decided to apply to colleges abroad way too late. My parents were panicked, I was panicked, but in the end, I think it all worked out, and it was a huge thank you to the entire team at UC.
And we are getting a lot of questions, queries, in fact, from the parents. I'll just like narrate all of them so that you can answer them together.
Sure.
When is the right time for getting and submitting an application to the universities? What are the entry requirements to be accepted into a course?
Okay.
What about the visas? Will it be online studies this year? Like a lot of countries like Australia and a couple of other countries, the flights are banned. So what kind of impact it will have, ma'am? Ma'am, please guide the students, even if you find something more important things have to told to them, ma'am, so that will help them in these times. Please do, ma'am.
Okay. So let's start with the first very important question that you asked, which is about entry requirements. Okay. When it comes to entry requirements for students and applying to these colleges and universities, there are 5 important things that they need to take care of. The first important thing are your grades from 9 to 12. All grades matter. And if you're a college student, college bound student, or a master's student, then you have to look at your grades from school through college. Second, that becomes important is certain exams that you need to sit for. So whether it's the TSA exam, which is important for Oxford and Cambridge, or it is the SAT exam that is important for, let's say, some education in Singapore or in the US or even in India for that matter, those you need to check whether your university is asking for an SAT exam or not. Thirdly, you require certain recommendation letters, and these recommendation letters typically come from your teachers or your counselor or someone you've spent time with, whether a coach, also it could be a music coach, it could be a football coach. So those are also important. There is also, of course, another entrance exam, which is the IELTS or the TOEFL, which is very important for most international studies. Number 4 is your activity profile. Now, frankly, an activity profile, we could have a separate session on what is an activity profile and how do you build an activity profile. The smallest thing that I can tell you about an activity profile is that a profile is closest to your strengths. Yeah. So it need not always link directly with the program. So I've had the privilege of working with students who are let's say, aiming for psychology but are also sitar players, who are aiming for computer science but are also national level footballers. So the versatility in your profile is also something that universities love to celebrate. Yes, so that's also something that you should look at. Overall, there are multiple ways of working around your profile. I keep telling parents and students, the earlier you start, the better it is. So ninth and 10th, I love kids coming in at ninth and 10th, but 11th is also not too late. And 12th, I would say just wake up right now, because there's hardly any time left as such. Lastly, number 5 that universities are looking for are your college application essays. Now, a lot of Indian universities also have now started looking at application essays, because they become like a very interesting point where you can write to a university and let them know what is unique about you, how do you think, and how do you ideate. And again, there are multiple ways on approaching college essays. So just to summarize, scores from 9th through 12th, exams, which are various kinds, right from IELTS, TOEFL to SATs, recommendation letters from various agencies, whether it's schools, teachers, subjects, coaches, etc., profile, and your college essays. These are the basic entry requirements for any university going forward. Okay, so as far as the second question, which is what is the timeline to look at? Yeah, how do you decide what is the best time to start what? Now, 1st of August of every year, applications world over, USA, most of Canada, UK, of course, they all open. Yeah, which means if you're ready with your application till 10th of August, please go ahead and submit. That's the whole idea. But what is the optimum time to submit? I often tell students and parents, especially in India, before Diwali, if you can manage it, before October, November, it's much better, because then you're part of the early application pool, and therefore you get your results early. You also get access to certain kinds of scholarships at that point in time. So all of that is to be taken into account. Unfortunately, there is no one formula that I can give you that, okay, apply by this date and sab theek ho jayega. If you're looking at US applications, there is a different strategy to follow. If you're looking at UK applications, there's a different strategy to follow, and so on and so forth. Okay. Coming to your most important question in these very tough times, what will happen to our studies, online studies? Now, the important thing to understand here is that, yes, there is a pandemic. Yes, we are all in this situation. But life is not stopping, right? If you sit on your terrace garden, or if you sit, once take a walk in the park, you look around you and life is buzzing. So life is not stopping. So what makes you think that your education has come to a standstill? Your education is also something that you can decide. Today, we all have this machine in our hands, and this machine can practically hold your entire education. So nothing should stop you, firstly, from learning and growing and exploring at the end of the day. So that's number one. Having said that, let's look at formal education. In the formal education setup of things, whether it's school, college, etc., yes, a lot of effort is being made by certain universities to make sure that certain programs are available online. The good news is that there are a lot of colleges that are opening up this year. So all of United States, for example, they do plan to open this fall. And so students are already gearing up for their visa applications, and they are planning to join universities in August, September. So that's very, very exciting. All of Canada is also hoping to open. There is no problem there again. Their study permits are being processed as we speak. And there should be, fingers crossed, since nothing can be said till the last minute, yes. Students, and I keep telling parents, till the time the flight doesn't take off and the kid does not call you from their dorm and say, Mama, I'm here, tab tak kuch nahi keh sakte. So, but at the same time, yes, things are opening up and papers are being processed. Till last year, that was not happening at all. Okay. Same is the case with UK and Ireland and such, and even Europe. So they have red listed some countries, and yes, India was on top of that red list until a few days ago, few weeks ago, and we are talking in June, and so you can do the math. The idea is that, but at the same time, there are certain quarantine facilities that are being made available to students, sometimes at the university expense also. So you need to check with your university what is their procedure, what is the protocol they are following. One thing that is definitely not happening this year is that parents who were thinking of taking a holiday and dropping their kids off to universities may not be able to do that. The children will have to become self sufficient, pack their bags, and leave on their own. So most of them will have to do that. Yes. As far as the visa situation is concerned, all embassies are, definitely making sure that they have the right appointment slots available. So please keep a lookout on their Facebook pages or on their own websites as to what is happening in terms of their timeline. If you've not already got in touch with a seasoned counselor, this is the best time to do that and at least get all the protocols right. Yes, there are certain countries like New Zealand and Australia that have decided to keep their borders sealed for right now. And I think they're wanting to create a bubble of their own that is free from any kind of virus or pandemic like situation. But then that is their call. We can't decide on that. The whole world otherwise is open to you. Unfortunately, India, on the other hand, it seems like universities may not be able to open, although there are some news about some universities in the mountain areas, perhaps they're planning to open. So we don't have the correct information. So I don't want to say that out loud in the channel right now so that people get confused. So for now, the situation in India is that perhaps universities will continue to be online at this point in time.